On a quiet summer morning in 1948, on the southern coast of Australia, something deeply unsettling was discovered. A man lay dead on Somerton Beach, his body positioned calmly against a seawall, as if he had simply sat down to rest, and never stood up again. No signs of struggle, no visible wounds, no blood, no chaos. Just silence. It was as if the ocean itself had decided to release him onto the sand, leaving only the stillness of his presence behind. At first glance, it seemed like a natural death. But the closer investigators looked, the stranger it became. This man carried no identification, no wallet, no passport, no letters. Every label had been deliberately cut from his clothing. Even his suitcase, found later at a nearby train station, offered no clear answers. It was as if this person had been carefully erased before death, like a character removed from a story without a trace. The media would later call him the Somerton Man, but history would remember him for two haunting words: Tamám Shud. Words that would become synonymous with mystery, secrecy, and unanswerable questions. The autopsy raised more questions than answers. The man appeared physically fit, well-groomed, and healthy. His teeth were in excellent condition, suggesting wealth or access to quality care. His hands showed no signs of hard labor, hinting at a life of comfort or careful concealment. Yet, despite a full medical examination, doctors could not determine a definitive cause of death. There was no heart attack, no stroke, no obvious poison, at least, none detectable by the technology of the time. His organs were congested, especially the spleen and liver, leading some pathologists to suspect poisoning. But without chemical proof, the official cause of death remained uncertain. It was a case that seemed to mock every attempt at explanation. As investigators searched his pockets again, they found something that shifted the case from mysterious to disturbing. Hidden inside a small inner pocket of his trousers was a tiny, neatly folded piece of paper. It had been torn from a book. On it were two Persian words: Tamám Shud. Translated, it means, "it is finished." Those words were typically found at the end of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of poetry reflecting on life, fate, and death. The phrase alone felt like a final message, a deliberate goodbye. But the book itself was nowhere to be found. Months later, a man came forward with a shocking discovery. He claimed that a copy of the Rubaiyat had mysteriously appeared in the back seat of his unlocked car around the time of the death. When police examined it, they found the final page torn out, the very page that would have contained the words, Tamám Shud. Even more chilling was what they found inside the book. On the back pages were rows of strange letters, written in pencil. Not random scribbles, but structured lines that looked deliberate. A code, or at least, something meant to appear as one. Cryptographers were called in. Military intelligence took interest. Civilian codebreakers tried their luck. But no one could conclusively crack the message. Some believed it was a cipher. Others thought it might be shorthand, or even a personal mnemonic that only the writer could understand. One theory suggested it was a spy code. This was the late 1940s. The Cold War had begun. Australia hosted sensitive military installations. Intelligence agencies were active, silent, and everywhere. An unidentified man with no ID, erased labels, a coded message, and a poetic farewell. This didn't feel accidental. The details seemed calculated, deliberate, and perfectly orchestrated to leave confusion behind. Then there was the woman. Just a few hundred meters from where the body was found lived a nurse whose name was later linked to the case. She owned a copy of the Rubaiyat. When police showed her a plaster cast of the Somerton man's face, witnesses claimed she nearly fainted. She denied knowing him, denied recognizing him, but her reaction told a different story. She also had connections to intelligence work and spoke multiple languages, unusual for the time. Some believed the Somerton man had been her lover. Others suspected something darker, that she knew exactly who he was, and why he had to disappear. And yet, decades later, she maintained silence, her memories locked away behind walls no one could breach. The investigation itself was riddled with frustration. Witnesses gave conflicting statements, leads evaporated, documents disappeared. Even the most basic clues, like the type of cigarettes he smoked, the brand of clothes he wore, or the subtle markings on his body, offered nothing conclusive. Every small discovery only seemed to deepen the sense of intentional obscurity, as if someone had meticulously designed a life and death to be impossible to trace. Researchers and amateur sleuths have tried to piece together his past for decades. Facial reconstructions, forensic genealogy, even modern DNA testing have yielded tantalizing hints, but no definitive answers. Some suspect he was a foreign agent, possibly involved in Cold War espionage, sent to gather intelligence, and eliminated when his mission ended. Others suggest he might have been a private individual caught in a web far larger than he could understand. And some whisper that perhaps he was an experiment, a human pawn in a silent war that no one would ever publicly acknowledge. Even now, the Somerton Man lives in photographs, in plaster casts, in the torn pages of a book, and in the imagination of all who encounter his story. His presence lingers like a shadow on that beach, decades later, reminding us that some mysteries are meant to endure. The cold sand, the hidden note, the unsolved code, the silent witness of the sea. Each element works together to create a puzzle that refuses to be solved. What makes this story so haunting is its total incompleteness. Life left no fingerprints on him, yet his death imprinted itself into history. He arrived with no past, and he left with no future. And yet, the world continues to chase fragments of him, hoping to understand who he was, why he died, and whether his silence was truly final. Or a signal waiting for the right observer to decode it. Some cases are solved by science. Others by confession, accident, or luck. But the Somerton Man's story exists in a space where time itself seems powerless. Every discovery only leads to more questions. Every answer dissolves into ambiguity. And perhaps, that is why his story is so compelling, because the unknown often tells us more about ourselves than any definitive truth ever could. The Somerton Man reminds us that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled. Some lives are carefully hidden, leaving echoes that stretch long after bodies have gone. And sometimes, the strangest part is that the more we search for closure, the more the questions multiply, like ripples spreading across the surface of an unending sea. In the end, we are left with fragments. A man, a beach, a torn book, a coded message. A life erased yet unforgettable. And as the years continue to pass, the Somerton Man sits silently in history, challenging anyone who dares to look, to question, and to wonder. Can every story truly be solved, or are some puzzles designed to remain forever unsolved? As you sit back and let these mysteries sink in, remember, not everything you see or hear can be explained. Some events leave questions that even science struggles to answer, and perhaps, that's what makes the unknown so captivating. The stories we uncover may seem strange, unbelievable, or even impossible, but somewhere, in the shadows of our world, they linger. They wait for someone curious enough to notice, to question, and to seek the truth. Could it be that the line between reality and the unexplained is thinner than we imagine? Only time, observation, and a keen mind will tell. If this journey into the unknown left you with chills, goosebumps, or even more questions than answers, you're not alone. Many who dare to explore these mysteries find themselves wondering, what else is out there, just beyond the edge of understanding? And while the world continues to hide its secrets, you can stay one step ahead. By subscribing to Echo's Evidence, you'll never miss another encounter with the unexplained. Hit the bell icon, so the next mystery comes straight to you, no delays, no excuses. Join a growing community of curious minds, who, like you, are drawn to the strange, the eerie, and the unexplainable. Remember, every video you watch here is more than a story, it's a doorway. A doorway to knowledge, to fear, to fascination, and sometimes, to answers we didn't know we were looking for. And just when you think you've seen it all, the shadows may shift, the quiet may whisper, and something familiar might not be what it seems. Keep your senses alert, because the next strange occurrence, the next unexplainable phenomenon, could be closer than you think. So, before you leave, take a moment. Reflect on what you've just seen. Share your thoughts, your theories, or your own mysterious experiences in the comments. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole really goes together. And as always, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your curiosity alive. Because in a world full of echoes and evidence, the next mystery is always waiting.